Hi, I'm Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. Let's talk about compensation and pension exams. The C&P exam. What are they? What do we have to do? What don't we have to do? Let's dig in. First of all, if you file a VA disability claim, the chances are very high that you will at some point be scheduled for what's called a C&P exam. Someone will reach out to you, usually from a third-party company, and they will say, hey, Mr. Veteran, Miss Veteran, you've been scheduled for this compensation and pension exam. We'd like you to come in and talk to us. Well, you should go. It's almost never a good idea. There are exceptions, perhaps, but for this video, we're just going to focus on going to your C&P exam. You should go to your C&P exam because the C&P exam is where the VA makes their determination as to whether or not your disability is service-connected. So here's what I mean. I filed a claim for tinnitus, constant ringing in the ears. I filed a personal statement. I said, well, I first developed tinnitus while I was on the rifle range in Marine Corps boot camp, and my earplug fell out, and my drill instructor wouldn't allow me to put it back in my ear as a punishment for having let it fall out. And so I fired all day on the rifle range with no hearing protection in one ear. And as a result, I had instant tinnitus, and I've had it ever since. I have it in both ears, but it's worse in my left ear. That's my in-service event. I still have tinnitus. It's constant, it's every day, it's always there. Sometimes I can ignore it, but it doesn't stop. Those of you who have tinnitus are well aware of this, I'm sure. So I have a current diagnosis of tinnitus. I have an in-service event. So why the C&P exam? Well, when I went to my C&P exam, they attempted to ask me some questions that might have led one to believe that my tinnitus started before the service or after I got out. So I had to answer questions such as, did you go to concerts before you joined the Marine Corps? If so, did you wear hearing protection? Did you go to loud concerts? Were you exposed to loud music? Were you exposed to loud noises? Did you work on a road construction crew? Did you operate a jackhammer? All that sort of thing, right? And so I had to answer those questions, which I did, truthfully. And on the basis of that, the C&P examiner wrote what's called a nexus letter. A nexus letter is the connection between your current diagnosis of tinnitus, in this case, and your in-service event. It basically says that it's at least as likely as not, or it is not as likely as not, that the two are connected. And that will be the basis for the VA rating. So when the rater gets the information from the C&P exam, they'll read that nexus letter and it will say it's at least as likely as not, it's more likely than not, or it is less likely than not. And they'll use that to make their determination when they award a rating. So you don't get to see what the C&P examiner writes down unless you file a Freedom of Information Act request. And believe me, that can take a year or more to get. So you want to go to your C&P exam and you want to make a very good impression. You want to make sure that you make it clear in your C&P exam the in-service event, current diagnosis, and why you believe the two things are linked. The C&P examiner, if they are doing their job correctly, will make that connection for you and will submit it. Now I will say that for some conditions you may decide to go and get a nexus letter of your own. That is to say, you can ask your doctor to write a nexus letter, Even a VA doctor is permitted to write a nexus letter, although they often won't. Or you can hire a professional whose job it is to examine your records, talk to you, perhaps interview you, or examine you depending on the circumstances, and then write a letter stating that it is at least as likely as not that the original in-service event and the current diagnosis are in fact related. If you do that and you submit in your claim your private nexus letter, it will go into the VA rater along with the nexus letter that the C&P examiner submits. And if they disagree with each other, according to the VA's regulations, the win should go to the veteran. So if it's 50% yes, 50% no, that's considered a win on the veteran's side. That's the benefit of the doubt that veterans are supposed to get. And if they don't, that's an actionable claim for review. You can appeal that. So, in summary, C&P exams are not to be feared, but you have to understand what happens in a C&P exam. The examiner's job is to get at the truth and to submit their recommendation. I shouldn't say recommendation, to submit their evidence that they have found in the form of a nexus letter stating that it is more, less, or as likely as not that your current condition is related to your in-service event. If you don't go to the exam, if you blow it off, then the chances are very high that your claim is going to be denied. So, C&P exams. Go to your C&P exam, be prepared, take your notes, understand what this person's job is, and I wish you the very best of luck. This is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, have a great day.